we're back and we want to talk about rhythms. We're not calling them routines, mostly because we are not good at them. Yeah, we're both Enneagram 7s, and it's just we like structure, but don't like structure, but we recognize we need it. So that's exactly why we've created the group this way. So, Shelby, how about you start? What is hard for you about creating consistent rhythms for yourself?
I think it's certain things that when I think about committing to that, like when I want to commit to something, I want to really commit to it because I don't like to back out on anyone, especially, and like I don't want to back out on myself. And so I tend to then just not commit to things because I'm like, I don't want to do that. And so we were actually just talking earlier about something that I don't want to commit to. I really don't because I know it's going to be so hard. But like Paige, with her wisdom, pointed out, it's probably something I should commit to. And that is no like falling asleep to Netflix or like a movie or a show, because I do that on the regular, especially when I'm by myself most of the time at night. I'm like, I don't want to just stare at the ceiling. But I also say a lot that I want to read more. And hello, I could do that at night. So that is an example of something that I'm going to commit to. But I think the main reason is because I want to actually, like, when I say I want to do something, I want to actually do it. And so a lot of times I just don't say I'm going to do it so that I'm not actually held accountable to do it.
Yeah, that's definitely relatable for me. And I think for me too, it's like, especially summertime, it becomes a lot harder for me because I feel a lot of freedom and I have a lot of flexibility, especially like my husband is a teacher. If you didn't know that, I do this because he's upstairs and I'm downstairs. So I find myself in the mornings like I want to sleep in and I want to like bask in this freedom, which feels really good in the morning. And then it gets to be like 11 and I'm like, okay, well, now I haven't been productive and I'm going to miss out on time somewhere else because I have to, like, I want to work out and I need to get some stuff done. So it's like, for me, I guess it's living in the moment that gets me in trouble. It's like I have to think forward of how not having a rhythm is going to impact something that I want to do later. And I'm really bad about that. Like I'll press snooze because I'm like, I can press snooze. Like I don't technically have to get up right now. So why would I? But each and every day I'm finding myself like that, although it feels good in the moment, leads to stress later in my day. And I think Shelby and I are very similar in this because we both have a lot of freedom in the summer and really all the time. But we've just learned that we function better whenever we create rhythms. So we're going to kind of talk out what we're going to do. We're going to talk about our mornings and our evenings. And one thing I want you guys to know is my rhythm in the morning and evening isn't going to be like 7 on the dot, wake up, have a glass of water, 7:05, do this. Like that will not work for me. So yeah, we'll kind of talk a little bit about that. So Shelby, what are you thinking for your morning and evenings?
Really quick before we get into that, I wanted to read this. I looked up the other day the definition, like different definitions of rhythm, and obviously there's ones about like music and like that kind of stuff and art and whatnot. But these two really stuck out to me. One of the definitions is a strong, regular, repeated pattern of movement or sound. Movement. And then another one that I really liked was a regularly reoccurring sequence of events, actions, or processes. And so I just really like how it pointed out like the processes, because I think that's kind of like what we're getting at here. Even like the rhythm of like working out. For some of you, like you've been working out for years, whether it was pre-Beachbody or with us with Beachbody. And some of you, this is going to be your first day one or your first day one in a long time. And so having that repeated process of choosing to move our bodies 4 to 6 times a week is something like we're going for. But as far as like my mornings and my evening rhythms, I just not thought of this as you're saying this, but I do want to start my day with drinking water before I I dive into coffee or pre or whatever it is. Um, Even just like 8 ounces to like start your day with water is so good for your body. And so starting my day with water and no phone until, or no social media until I have had my um, either prayer time or like time in the word, and spending time with Jesus, because that definitely affects my mood. I've done it a couple days this week, but not like consistently. And the days I have versus I haven't, night and day, night and day difference. So um that is are the two those are the two main things in the morning, and no snooze. So if I want to get up at 7:30, 7:30 is when I'm getting up. I'm setting my alarm for 7:30 so I actually get up, not 7:10, so I can hit snooze however many times. And that's difficult for me. Like I will never understand people who don't have a problem hitting snooze. So, but
Same.
what are your mornings?
So no snooze is a big thing for me. I have good intentions so many times, and then I'm just so tired. But it actually is never like restful to continue hitting snooze. So I should just get up. So no snooze is a big one. And picking a time that I can stick to, like 7:15 feels a lot better than 7 for whatever reason. I don't know. Just picking a time that I will consistently stick to in the morning, drinking water, like you mentioned, spending time in my Bible, also like you mentioned. But one of the biggest things that I want to focus on really in the morning and the evening is really limiting my phone time. It's just so easy for me to go there and start scrolling. And then before I know it, I'm like, I've gone from scrolling to working back to scrolling, just like really scattered. So I just want to make my morning routine very simple and slow and relaxing, where I can get up and I can just like breathe, like just not rush into all the things I need to do in the day. And you'll notice I'm being very vague because I haven't thought thoroughly through what I want to do yet. And maybe this is what your process can look like. Like chat with somebody in the group, chat with somebody like us, chat with your husband or your best friend or your mom about what you want your mornings to feel like, and then create a loose plan, not a rigid schedule, if you're anything like us anyway, because nothing sounds worse to me than waking up to a rigid schedule of what I have to do. I just want a few things to focus on each morning when I wake up.
For sure. Um,
Oh, we need to talk about our morning bet, or like,
Holy, yes. So this is open to anyone, and we can help you as far as like pairing you up with someone. But we think the easiest way, sorry, is for everybody to have a partner. So we're partners in this. This kind of came out of us talking about this group and everything, because we wanted to have a little bit of like skin in the game in a sense. So each morning or each night, like we'll text each other about what time we're going to get up, and we are holding each other accountable to that time. So like let's say it's 7 o'clock, I need to be texting Paige by 7 o'clock that I am up or that I'm on 320 or whatever it is. And every time that we don't do it, we owe the other one $1. So at the end of this, like really until she gives birth is actually what we said, was that then we'll like add it all up. But I think both of us have been 100% in the last like week and a half since we started doing it. So it has already helped both of us immensely to have that like extra level of accountability. So if you're someone that wants that extra level, or even if you don't necessarily want to do like the financial piece of it, just being partnered up with someone is a game changer for accountability.
yeah, it really is.
Um, and then as far as like evenings go, there are so many benefits to not looking at a screen at night, whether that's your phone or computer, and or TV. And so that is kind of why I'm really leaning towards not doing. And again, I need to have like a cutoff time or like a however many hours like before bed or whatever it is, because that is going to obviously help me stick to what I want to commit to. So right now it's probably looking at like an hour and a half or 2 hours before I go to bed, not being on my phone or not like being watching Netflix or whatever, because like I said, that's what I like fall asleep to normally. And instead like reading or going on a nightly walk or whatever. But then something else I want to commit to at night before I go to bed is stretching, even if it's only 5 minutes. It's so good for our bodies to be stretched out, and then after that, not stare at a screen. So
Yeah, I love those. Mine are similar in a lot of ways, but one of my biggest ones is to put my phone away at a certain time. I haven't decided what time. Shelby and I have talked a lot about this because I want access to my phone. Like Shelby and I are both night owls and we text a lot late at night. And it pains me to think of like having this rule for myself to put my phone away. And if I want to text Shelby, like, oh, can't do that. So I don't know exactly how this is going to work for me, but I know that I don't want to scroll at night. Like I want work to be done. I want like mindless social media to be done. I haven't picked a time, but I really need to think about that. That's going to be one thing. The second thing is I want evening movement. Like Shelby mentioned, some of you might know, might not know, but I am pregnant and due in 5 weeks. And I just really feel strongly that I need to keep moving. Nothing like extreme, but like I have a treadmill, I have a bike, or I can go on a walk. And every night in my head, I'm thinking 30 minutes of just extra movement. And I'm not doing this for any other reason other than for my body. Like, I don't think that I need to burn extra calories. I think that it's a good thing to get my body moving at the end of pregnancy to get things moving. So that's another one. And then the last one for me is to read 10 minutes every night, which feels really doable. Like I'm picturing, I take a lot of baths. I'm picturing like I take my phone to the bathtub all the time, which is so stupid. I don't know. I just scroll and like I sit in there easily 20 minutes scrolling, probably longer. I just take a book and I can read a book, or like when I get into bed at night, I can read a book. Like how much progress would I make in all these books that I've half read if I would just spend 10 minutes? And most likely it will end up being longer than 10 minutes, and that's fine. That I will read until I'm tired. Like that's such a better routine or rhythm than like scrolling or watching Netflix or whatever before I go to sleep. So those are the three things that I want to focus on.
yeah, I love that. And I think the biggest thing when we're encouraging all of you to pick your rhythm is something that's like is going to push you some, and something that after this group it's not going to just like completely go away. Am I never going to watch Netflix or a movie or whatever what after this is over? No, that's not really like the point. But the point is to one, see the difference, and two, have that be more of the consistent thing that's going on in my life, rather than like what's happening now where I literally fall asleep to Gilmore Girls or New Girl every night. So something doable and something that will be like shifted in your life once this group is over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm so much, and I think Shelby, you're probably similar. I'm so much of like how do I want this to make me feel? Not necessarily like making myself follow a plan. That feels so awful to me. I have to make sure that this sounds silly too, but like the energy feels right to me. So when I'm creating my morning, I'm thinking like, what's going to make me feel alive when I wake up? What's going to make me feel awake and ready to go for the day? Because so many days I sit on the couch for too long and I actually feel more tired after I wake up. Like, and I don't want to do that. So what's going to make me feel ready for the day? Ask yourself that. And then at night, it's the opposite. What is going to calm my mind and what is going to like just release the stress and make me feel like peace and ready for rest and to sleep and like to rejuvenate through the night so I can wake up and do it again tomorrow. It should not feel stressful when you create these rhythms for your mornings and night. It should not be a list of 10 things that you have to get done in the morning and night. It's way more flexible than that. And if you need help, like I said, like we can definitely talk about that.
Last thing I want to mention personally is two books that I have found like pretty helpful in this. The first one is Rest and War by Ben Stewart, and the like subtitle or whatever is Rhythms of a Well Thought Life. So good. I could talk about it for hours, but amazing. And the second one is mainly just the I've only read like the first section of it, but the first section is called Contemplative Rhythms, but it's from The Deeply Formed Life by Rich, what's his last name?
I don't know.
It's Vietas. I can't remember the spelling of it. Anyways, but I can also share a picture of both of them in the comments. So those two books talk about rhythms and just are amazing. Can't say enough good things about them. So.
Love it. I'm excited because I need this in my life, especially as I'm about to have my second baby. Like, I need to figure out how to not just wing it all the time.
Yeah.
So, anything else, Shelby?
I think so. Again, let us know if you need help figuring out what you want to do, or even if you just want to talk through it. That's what we're here for. And we're so about the next 3 weeks.
Yep.